going. Oh my!
You could go back through, well, series one, it would be. Hang on, I gotta go.
While doing research for this video, I happened onto this clip. These goats have been literally trapped to the edge of a boulder by a pack of wild dogs, as you can see. I'm sorry, I have no idea what the goats' true names are, but they're really amazing. They are able to cling to the rock with their hooves, keeping them slightly out of the dog's path. This, after all, may be the epitome of being both so close and so far away. These goats patiently wait out the ravenous hounds, displaying stoicism. The dogs are totally frustrated. They approach from all directions in an attempt to get near enough to take a bite out of one of them. The video was well received on the internet, with some positive remarks like, "Don't panic when things seem really bad. Remain steadfast, maintain your position, and have faith in yourself." Learning experience gained. Maintaining composure in all circumstances is a win-win in life. It happens that the safest location is also the most deadly. Still, what incredible adaptability and skill these goats possess. We are shown inside a family's living area in this video clip. Everyone is on their knees, and the carpet on the floor is visible, as we concentrate on the touching family moment that is developing. Something strange is catching our eye in the corner of the room over there. There's something unusually little behind the family. It has a cute and unusual appearance, resembling a small bear or an ape in several aspects. The tiny creature appears to be having a great time as it playfully moves around. He's definitely got my interest. However, if you examine it carefully, you will see that it has a small length of rope or thread tied to it. Then it becomes apparent that it is genuinely affixed to a family member. Like a leash, they are holding the other end tight. The man unlocks the door to go outdoors, and we can see him do so. The animal is tethered to his leash and is trailing him closely. This scene seems strange. A lot of people who have seen this video think the object could be a young Bigfoot. If that's the case, though, how, why, and where did he obtain it? Some who have claimed that this is a hoax claim that the thread should not be visible, that there may be additional objects tied to the creature that we are unaware of, and that the whole thing is somehow a puppet that is under the person's control. Really, I have no idea what to say about any of this. It's exhilarating, frightening, and fascinating. That small guy sure seems strange. That thing, what the heck is it? This crazy video was shared by Dominican Republic native Alex. It depicts his pal leaving early in the morning for work. That would be roughly 5:30 a.m. Something really strange appears on video behind him as he leaves his apartment. There's this weird, shadowy figure down the corridor that appears to be see-through. It simply strolls along the corridor before vanishing from sight. The man glances back and nearly sees it, but he wasn't really sure what it was at the moment. Later that night, he reviewed the security tape again because he was certain he had seen something, even if it had since vanished. This stuff is really kind of creepy. It soon amassed 7 million views after going viral online. Individuals began offering their opinions and raising a variety of queries. Naturally, some people called it a fake right away. The person it happened to took a hasty second video, just trying to let everyone know the quick rundown of what transpired. Here's another unique kind of video, but it's still extremely awesome. A local news station posted a video of firefighters demolishing a stork's nest, and it quickly went viral. The destruction of this bird's home has people furious. You can watch as the firefighters use their strong hose to attack the nest, sending numerous pieces flying off and shattering. As the nest falls to the ground, they are eventually able to destroy it. Take note of the nest's weight. A wire on the utility pole breaks. It took the stork a few minutes to construct this nest, and after doing so, she returns with branches and twigs to strengthen the nest, where she will undoubtedly lay her eggs. She lets out a loud cry, tossing her head back and squawking as she realizes that her nest and all of her hard work have been destroyed. The truth is that the nest posed a hazard and actually caught fire, forcing the firefighters to demolish it. And the really amazing thing is that the firefighters returned carrying a metal nest that they had constructed. This probably didn't make the headlines, that the stork would ideally use as a nest site. It wouldn't catch fire either. Even after salvaging as many sticks as they could, the Good Samaritans attempted to reassemble her nest. The stork thought it was fantastic, and I agree that the world needs more tales like this one. This is a terrifying trail cam video of an ape sprinting through a dark forest. The submitter claims that this image was shot in a secluded area of Washington state. This creature appears a little too little to be a Bigfoot, if this photo is true. Maybe a young specimen? Or are we observing something else? For hundreds of years, there have been stories about primates hiding in the forests of North America. Of course, Bigfoot is the biggest, but there are others as well. Tales of a claimed legendary animal known as the North American great ape have been passed down to us. This creature is smaller and less human-like than Bigfoot, yet it looks similar in several other ways. In short, it's a big primate that lives in the American woods and resembles a silverback gorilla. There have also been rumors of smaller primates living in the same regions. Some of these are merely identified as different species of wild monkeys, while others are said to be hybrids of monkey and human. What are your opinions on this? Do you believe that monkeys exist in North America? Or are you of the opinion that it's a complex conspiracy theory? Tell me what everyone thinks. A massive lightning bolt was so noticeable near Paducah, Kentucky, that it was caught on 2 police dash cams. While the second police car was much closer, the first police car was at a distance, and its camera amply demonstrated the length of this massive bolt of lightning.
You could go back through well, Series 1, it would be. I gotta go.
A nearby house was directly impacted by the lightning. Fortunately, no one was hurt. However, because of the intensely dramatic close encounter, this incident will live in the memory of the neighboring cop. This picture will definitely catch your eye. Imagine you have your trail camera set up in a field full of tall, wild grass with the intention of capturing some wildlife. However, when viewing the video returning to the video, you discover something wholly unanticipated. Something that looks like a huge Bigfoot is hiding among the thick vegetation. This creature appears quite serious and has a characteristic extended crown on its head. It certainly does not want its photo taken at the very least. The picture is intriguing, of course, but it begs more questions than it does answers. What kind of monster is this? Could it be the Bigfoot, or is it just an odd-looking ape going about its day? Be careful. There has always been controversy around the existence of any kind of creature similar to them. The best thing about putting them online is that you are exposed to a wide range of viewpoints and experiences, and this one certainly makes us all ponder and talk about it. This video clip is really peculiar. It displays security video from a supermarket and the strange things that are caught on camera. When the video was first posted to Instagram by a guide to combat, it begins shoppers frequently proceed through the aisles, selecting what they want to buy. But as the video goes on, something strange occurs. Almost as if out of nowhere, a man starts acting strangely. He seems to have noticed something ominous right above him. He appears to crumple in a fit of terror and tumble to the ground. This begs the evident query: what in the world had he seen to provoke such a strong response? Fortunately, a lot of people have spoken their thoughts. There are many who speculate that he could be an actor attempting to play practical jokes on the guards watching the videotape. Actually, the theory isn't all that horrible. They contend that the whole scenario could have been staged for the cameras. However, a sizable portion of viewers think the man's response is sincere. They draw attention to the genuine expression of dread and amazement on his face. Some have now suggested that we should take into account the possibility that this is a medical emergency, such as a seizure. Yes, but why was he staring up so expectantly, as if something or someone was going to fall on him? It's interesting to note that a few other videos of people acting in similar ways have been making the rounds on the internet. This just serves to heighten the mystery, leaving viewers to speculate as to what the real reason for these odd happenings might be. Alright, this next video is absurd. From a Leandro, that is. He is in Argentina's Buenos Aires, and he recently moved into this new place where all of these weird things are happening. Look into this. Leandro set up a security camera in an attempt to investigate and possibly obtain a sight of what was happening. He was surprised to discover that the case involved much more than just missing belongings. He was deeply shaken by the video. It prompted Leandro to research the history of his land, and it was there that he eventually discovered the horrific details of a 1950s fire that destroyed a family's home. In the future, on a different evening, his friend Daniel has dropped by. While idling around, this force, spirit, or being suddenly makes another stunning entrance. A white thing may be seen gliding past the window if you look behind Leandro. Almost immediately, as if by an unseen hand, objects fly off the nightstand and essentially explode. The two men wet their trousers and nearly leaped out of their seats. Well, that's kind of crazy. That might not be real, I suppose. I'm not sure. However, Leandro discovers something even stranger the next day. The apparition appears to be mimicking Daniel's voice when it comes to visit his house.
Son las 3 de la mañana de nuevo. Esto es lo que yo, con lo que yo convivo, con esto yo convivo hace meses. Siempre que grabo, vos no sos Daniel, esa no es tu voz. Daniel se fue hace meses del país, vos no sos Daniel. Si querés lastimarme, salí y lastimame ahora. Ya, déjame de joder. Si no puedo vivir, ya no puedo vivir.
A few of these videos have already been seen. We call this a mimic. They pose as someone you know to entice you in. Leandro said he's exhausted by all these strange events, regardless of whether this is all a scam or only part of it is a prank. But what are your thoughts, guys? Does his home really seem haunted? Or are we more likely to believe that he, and perhaps even Daniel, is playing a very clever prank? You know, up until the very end, when they had the purported voice attempting to break into his room, I really did believe it all to be true. But I'm getting off topic. Leandro is the only one who can answer for sure. However, we can discuss it in the comments. Yes, this enormous Cape buffalo is being filmed while it happily munches on some grass. However, the huge guy's attention is drawn to the disturbance made by the onlookers. And then there's a sudden shift to the left. The buffalo pauses at the side of the lake. His changes in temperament are evident. At first, the tourists are just staring at him, going absolutely crazy. However, when Mr. Buffalo decides he's not up for it, the mood quickly changes. A picture session and he begins to charge.
You would stop by the end of the water.
I got with that grass.
Look at him. Oh gosh, oh no. Look how fast he's going. Oh no! You scared me to...
Everyone's hearts are pounding so hard that you can hear Sally yelling for aid over here. Here's the problem, though. The Cape buffalo has a reputation for being erratic, and an enraged one may be extremely dangerous and like a ticking time bomb. In any case, these people almost had to learn that lesson the hard way, but fortunately, it was all for show. Just a fictitious fee. The buffalo's way of saying, "Move over, dude," without causing harm to anyone. An unsettling image is seen in a video that El Cucuy TV posted on TikTok. Deep in the night, we observe a car making its way through a dimly lighted one-way tunnel with caution. The driver immediately detects something unusual as the car moves forward. Standing by the side of the road by itself is a figure that seems like a tiny child in the dark light. It's quite the surprise. The identical shocked response is expressed by the driver and passenger, who both wonder, what was that, a kid? Owing to this surprise glimpse, viewers are considering two equally unpleasant possibilities. The first explanation, which suggests that the figure we see might truly be a lost child who got lost in this isolated, poorly lighted tunnel, has extremely unsettling real-world ramifications. The conditions that have placed a child in such a precarious situation are only imagined. However, other viewers, possibly those with a stronger interest in the paranormal, offer a scarier theory. They think that what we're seeing isn't even a living child, but more like an apparition. A spectral representation of a young person who may have tragically died on this very path. How do you feel? This brave man braves the enigmatic waters of Malaysia in this unsettling video, but when he takes off his shoes, fear strikes. Hold on tight, for this isn't your typical river stroll. This video is even more bizarre because many leeches had attached themselves to his foot. However, that is only the start of this eerie story. Brave as hell, he lifts his camera to record what's coming up. And I'm certainly left wondering by what he manages to capture. A girl sits inside the waterfall, her thick black hair spilling all over her. The unsettling issue is that this video has no source. It leaves us wondering as we can't tell for sure if it's altered, authentic, or just a fake. Is this a real paranormal experience, or are we just seeing a masterfully constructed illusion? This clip, which was taken by a home security camera, depicts a terrifying scenario that occurred in someone's backyard. There's a man attempting to repel an attacker while just carrying a long stick. The situation quickly becomes heated when two bears charge into the yard. Though it's unclear what they're pursuing, it appears they're serious. After giving it some thought, one bear kind of wakes up and moves on. However, the other is all in, charging and bringing the victim to the ground. I can't even begin to picture the feelings that individual must have had. It seemed as though their lives suddenly flashed before them. As an aside, you really need to keep an eye out if you relocate to a region with a lot of wildlife. This video is amazing. Now, back in 2018, a Japanese man happened to find something really strange in his neighborhood playground. He'd seen this swing swinging back and forth by itself at various times of the day when no one was there. Nobody is making an effort. He set up a camera to record the entire event since he was intrigued and wanted to share this unusual occurrence with his buddies. He didn't stop there, though. In order to capture the picture from a new perspective, he also employed a different camera. Eventually, this fascinating video appeared on Fourth Wall's YouTube page. It wasn't simply the self-moving swing that added to the spooky atmosphere in the film. A shadowy, enigmatic figure may also be seen in the footage standing still near to a tree. Strangely enough, this figure appeared to be willing the swinging motion to move by looking directly at it. Or, more creepier in my opinion, seeing the ghost of a small child swing. This is where things start to become really strange. The enigmatic person by the tree isn't seen in the video that was taken using the man's phone. The playground actually looks to be absolutely deserted. Subsequently, the individual who took the video acknowledged that, while at the playground, he had not even observed the figure. It was only when he went back and compared the film shot from the two separate camera positions that he realized he was there. So what are you making of this, in your opinion? I know it's quite the brain teaser. I believe that someone is, at the very least, spooked out if they take the bother to set up two distinct cameras from two different camera positions. Thus, there's an odd atmosphere right away. Furthermore, considering the alternatives, I don't believe that the swing is simply swaying in the breeze because it's a windy day. That's not eerie at all, and the man probably wouldn't have noticed it either. Your go-to TikTok content maker is Justin Fender, telling the world about his family, his bike, and his automobile. Everything appeared somewhat normal until that fateful day when events took an unexpected and terrifying turn. You see, Justin uploaded a TikTok video showing off how to put reverse lights on his vehicle. At first glance, it appears harmless enough, but things get a little weird from here on out. A perceptive spectator inquired about the true brightness of the reversing lights. Most people would probably just laugh it off, but not our guy Justin. Oh no, he was determined to demonstrate to his audience the full extent of these bad lads' strength. Justin goes into the woods in the middle of night, exploring the pitch-black forest with his reliable camera. It was only him, his automobile, and the approaching night. Despite his determination to create a movie for the public, the content he managed to record in the footage left both him and his audience doubting everything. Upon turning on the reverse lights, a terrifying scene materialized before our own eyes. It was there, in the faint glow of the lights, that a pale, bony arm appeared wrapped around a tree, and it slithered away from view slowly. Can you even begin to comprehend the shock and adrenaline that Justin's audience felt upon witnessing this unsettling encounter? Naturally, the occurrence alarmed Justin and his supporters, and he made the decision to look into it after finally spotting the arm in the video. However, the forest exuded an unsettling aura even during the day. See what he discovered. He attempted to explain it away by saying it might be a stranger, a vagrant, or a hobo looking for safety in the woods. What are your thoughts, guys? Is this person in the wilderness looking for a place to stay? Or was there something much more eerie at work? I need to hear what you guys think about this as much as I want to. Is it an extraterrestrial attempting to make itself known by reaching out from the other side? Even if the video evidence is clear, it's still difficult for the average person to understand. My initial impression of this is that the guy seems quite believable. He sounds sincere. He was fascinated and giddy about these taillights. He's also not acting hysterically over this particular incident. Perhaps he's a fantastic actor. If so, congratulations to Justin. But it appears that he wasn't even aware of this unsettling arm until about a month later. This feels quite real, but I'm not sure what's real. Alright, have a look at this. Fans of the paranormal have been terrified by this ever since it was posted. A user going by the handle Mooncake posted a picture that would make anyone shiver. It appears to show a ghostly figure perched atop a fence. It appears to be maintaining guard. It is, of course, against a pitch-black, eerie night sky. Here's the twist. Mooncake claims that the picture was taken right outside of a friend's home. It wasn't until they later looked at the photo that anyone saw the eerie shadow. A long while later, the evening was coming to an end. People immediately jumped into wild assumptions when they put it online. One that attracted a lot of interest was very unconventional. The witness claimed that the silhouette was the lingering soul of a person who perished in an accidental fire. Hold on. Not everyone thinks we're dealing with a ghost. The skeptics claim it's merely an optical trick. It's a shadow cast by a perfectly positioned utility pole and the surrounding parking meter. And let me add that if you squint a little bit and examine attentively, you could see that those objects could be the source of this shadow. In any case, there has been a lot of debate over it, and I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts. A great way to just hang out and connect with nature is to take a group of friends camping in the woods. At any rate, till dusk arrives, and you go into freak-out mode when anything unexpected happens. That's what these teenagers who are camped out in the Michigan wilderness are demonstrating. These boys are probably just trying to have fun, content to be by themselves and away from their parents. However, things quickly get really spooky. The guys are outside their tents when they hear these distant, snarling noises. They see these skinwalkers stalking around like they're in a horror movie when one of them turns on their flashlights. These individuals exhibit a clear sign of sheer panic when it occurs, and they quickly leave. It turns out that they abandoned everything, including their cooking supplies and tents. So, let's approach this with some objectivity. What are our thoughts on this situation? Might their fantasies be taking over? Or are we truly under the impression that skinwalkers are pursuing them? In any case, you can tell that the woods definitely had an impact on them if their responses are sincere. I'm not sure what would keep you out of the water if this wasn't enough. Check out this enormous great white shark that washed up on the beach. Utterly enormous. It's silly of me, but I initially believed they were attempting to reintroduce the shark to the water. However, It's evident that the shark is being dragged off the coast and probably into a car. Since they're not normally found near shallower water, I suppose it's probably too late when a monster that size washes ashore. In any case, man, rest in peace. Cozy and Hairy Buddy posted a quite intriguing video that they took with their baby cam on Reddit. It has this weird glow that floats about the crib of the infant. After a moment, the light starts to swing back and forth, resembling the way a cradle might rock. At first look, it can just appear to be a random reflection of light. A bystander observed that it moved with such graceful grace that it seemed like a kind spirit watching over the infant. Which is a reassuring concept, actually. However, not everybody is in agreement. Some people believe that the infant may be unknowingly projecting the ghostly image. Some people simply believe it to be a fly or bug. However, everyone who has observed insects understands that their movements aren't actually that similar. They exhibit greater irregular behavior, which casts doubt on the bug theory. When baby's parents mention that the pale, eerie figure follows the baby, the plot becomes more complex, wherever the young one may be. Including that little detail makes the entire video much more eerie. What have you folks read about this, really? We have some amazing video to go over next. Is this anything genuine, or are we witnessing a crazy hoax? We are witnessing an increasing number of phony paranormal videos that are made just for online popularity because social media is given so much importance. This further complicates the process of distinguishing genuine meetings from fakes. However, that can also be the enjoyable part. So let's examine this subsequent submission and engage in a conversation in the comments. Is this a true encounter with a cryptid? If that's the case, what kind of animal are we dealing with? This narrative begins with a bunch of campers camped out in the middle of the forest. When they walk out to check, they all claim to have heard screaming and wailing coming from out in the woods. They moved fast, thinking there was trouble. Shortly after abandoning their tent, they came across a triangle made of sticks and random wood fragments. The edifice itself was shoddily constructed, yet it was obviously the creation of a human, or at least of something with a comparable degree of intellect and skill. As they approached the building, the party discovered where the cries were coming from. The woods. Can you make out the woman at the middle of the building? It seems as though she is being held against her will. And suddenly this unsettling monster arrives, as if out of nowhere. When we pause the video, you can see that it has at least 4 arms and moves like a big insect, even though at first glance it appears to be a crawler or rake. That's definitely not something I would like to encounter in the woods. Is this thing real? It doesn't resemble any of the known, established cryptids. What became of the campers, if it was real? And the woman shackled inside the wooden building? Share your opinions with us. I find the kid clip in particular to be rather creepy in this following video. Look into this. Thus, an odd thumping sound emanating from his kitchen startles a man. As he approaches to look inside it, he discovers where the noise is coming from. There are 2 tiny hands smacking and striking the glass of his sliding door, like they belong to a youngster. When he approaches, the only thing visible are the pale hands. The hammering continues even after he turns out the backyard lights, but the hands disappear. Strangely, the noise completely stops as soon as he slides the door wide. His dog, sensing that something is off, rushes outside, barking and growling. The man leaves after going back inside and shutting the door, only for the thumping to start up again. However, there's more. Another user, from inside his flat, records what appears to be a child's hand hammering on a window in a video that has gone viral online. There's a hammering against the window, and the sound of a child laughing. But the room is empty when he turns the corner to enter it. He even pulls back the blinds to show that he is the only person present. What are your thoughts on these unsettling occurrences, may I ask? Is there something supernatural that we are seeing? From the other side? Across? Or is everything just very skillful video editing? The thought of a little hand tapping on my window in the middle of the night. I'm going to vanish into thin air after that. Not in a manner. That in alone is enough to give anyone chills. Alright, so now this is crazy. In Canada, a bear has made the decision to scale a second-story window like any other tree. Captured by a neighbor's camera, we witnessed this bear performing a really bizarre prank by climbing the side of the house to reach that window. This item is enormous as well, and it strangely adheres to the wall rather effectively. It shifts into a new position and actually enters the home through the window. Can you picture the scenario when you hear something upstairs? Possibly your child resting, step upstairs and see a bear? Come on. The thing that bothers me the most, in my opinion, is that although the individuals shooting this were obviously terrified, you didn't make any noise. Similar like trying to stop the bear from entering your neighbor's home. Unless, perhaps, you're not fond of your neighbor. Another unsettling film that has gained some attention has appeared on Reddit. A Ring doorbell camera captured the footage from 2022, which appears to show something wholly incomprehensible. This unsettling episode happened in a townhouse community that had lately seen a number of unfortunate events, such as a fatal overdose and a different murder. A man is seen leaving for home after a night out on the video. He's probably had a few cocktails, handled his keys awkwardly, is attempting to unlock his door, and doesn't seem to be aware of what's going on behind him. It appears as though there is a figure hovering in the back, as though it is anticipating something or for him to open the door. Abruptly, a call comes in from someone inside inquiring if the man is alone, and he answers with confidence, "Yeah, I am." However, the one on the other end is unsure, and what follows is the most terrifying scene in the video. The background figure starts to move. After surveying the area, it abruptly turns and vanishes into the shadows. What was actually captured by this camera that evening? And why was this guy standing behind this strange figure seeming so menacing? It appears that nobody is aware. Everyone is fairly confused as a result of all the inquiries and discussions the video has sparked.
Are you getting the video? Really? I was listening to.
This video is simply absurd. Thankfully, everyone was unharmed except from a few small wounds and bruises. I have never experienced a tornado, and I would have to force myself not to watch one. This is an interesting museum-taken video. It's unclear where this video originated, though. It depicts security personnel observing a CCTV camera at a museum in Kazakhstan. At 7:30 p.m., the security personnel, something profoundly unsettling is noticed by the guards. Curiously, a pale figure who seemed to be wearing a white gown is moving amid the museum's displays. There is no explanation for what the guards are witnessing. They think the enigmatic figure is a ghost, and I might agree with them. An afterlife devoted to art. Now, since I don't have a solid source or any other authentic narrative, I'll let you people figure it out. Was this an actual paranormal experience? Or are we just going to write it off as light manipulation and double exposure? It was a ghost, in my opinion. In May, this incident generated a lot of excitement on TikTok. While working as nighttime security guards, two women encountered something unexpected. On night duty from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., and something approaches us at midnight. The caption of their video read, "This is what they found unnerving."
How is it? Raylan!
In the video, the silhouette nearly seems translucent. It appears to be a hazy, ghostly person approaching them immediately. Their voices betray their concern as they hurriedly start their car and drive off. How could that be? Some others were quick to criticize them, asking, "Aren't you security personnel? Why do you run?" Really though, who wouldn't be afraid? It resembles a sequence from a scary movie. Numerous remarks implied that the intrigue may have been enhanced by the existence of supernatural creatures. A hilarious comment implied that their manager was observing them because they were using TikTok. In any case, I'd be interested in hearing your opinions. Take a look at this image captured by a trail camera in the forest. Look again. At first glance, you might assume that this is just your typical forest backdrop. Can you make out the big fuzzy person in the backdrop hidden behind the trees? The identification of the species is unknown, and given the angle and poor clarity of the camera grab, it is quite frankly difficult to distinguish. But based on what we can see, this species doesn't appear to be like any other animal that is known to exist. It like a human walking on two legs, and in relation to the surrounding trees, it appears somewhat tall. While most people think they are seeing a black bear standing on its hind legs in this picture that has been circulating online, some individuals think they are seeing Bigfoot, or possibly even a gorilla. That very definitely may be the case, based on the creature's black outline. However, I'd want to let you into the conversation. What do you suppose this being is? Is this just an ordinary bear, or might this be photographic proof of Bigfoot? Tell me in the comments below. This picture is really unsettling. This vintage family snapshot captures a moment in time that has been frozen. The image shows a family sitting down, with the father wearing a plaid shirt and holding a small youngster, who isn't even old enough to notice what's going on next to him. Is his wife Nestle close at hand, carrying a son and another child in close proximity? However, that's not really the person we're focusing on in this image. In the middle of this family portrait's normalcy is an aberration. An ominous touch to this picture is added by the enigmatic, unidentifiable face in the middle of the family. The face is certainly out of place. Some believe it to be a coincidence of two exposures, certainly common in the early days of photography, but other people believe it to be something quite different. I would remark that the purity of the other people's faces contrasts sharply with this one. It's in the middle of the picture, but it's hazy, especially in comparison to the family members' well-defined features. Many believe it to be a ghost or an unexpected visitor that has chosen to show up. Some believe there might be a darker aspect to it. Given his position between the husband and the wife, it's possible that this man ruined their marriage. Perhaps the spouse got rid of him, or perhaps the spouse was unaware of him. All fascinating topics for contemplation. The fact that this picture was taken with the intention of maintaining the family's unity makes it very absurd. However, it caught something quite different. The man who uploaded it was these two's great-grandson, and nobody knew who the person in the photo was, as far as he knew. What say you people now? How do you feel? Is there two exposures here, or perhaps something more paranormal? This video catches an extremely perplexing moment. To give you a little background on this video, strange things have been happening up and down the street in this neighborhood. Reports of a monster moving up and down the tree line at night have been made. Even a couple jaguars were spotted in the morning. Well, I think the guilty party has been caught on camera. A bear that is walking on two legs is captured on camera as it strolls down the street as though it were the most normal thing in the world. The bear approaches a garbage can, raises up on its hind legs, and peers inside, behaving as inquisitive as any human might. However, the bear finds nothing that appears to pique its interest, so it gets up and moves on, searching for the next item to rummage into. I must admit, this is a really nice camera catch. Just one more illustration of the strange and unexpected things that exist in the world. This following image and narrative is very amazing. Look into this. The man adds, "I knew there was a perfectly good wood floor underneath the carpet in the Queens, New York apartment where I grew up," he writes. "When I reassembled the room, I saw a dark stain that appeared to be a body. I took this photo because it appeared as though a person had been there for a while, leaving stains on the floor. I apologize for the quality. It was taken on a BlackBerry Bold about 2008. It's not the stain that is odd or mysterious about the pic. It's the white thing. This surprising detail had no explanation. This is not steam or cigarette smoke in the photo. something else, or at least something that was difficult to describe simply. It seems almost otherworldly to me. My picture was intended to record a house makeover. I now have a single image that appears to show both a possible bloodstain and a white, ethereal wisp. Is there anyone who knows what these might be? I have no idea what that might be, man. It's the crimson stain that I notice, not anything else. I doubt that I would be able to locate the body. I might be able to find it out from someone. Though I'm not sure why, I can clearly see the stain and the white object in the center of the image. I simply don't have enough photographic knowledge. That could be anything, in my opinion. What are your thoughts, guys? This footage was captured by a Ring camera pointed directly at a driveway. There's a light-colored car parked on the right, and another car is parked up at the curb. After a short while, you notice something at the top of the driveway. A shadowy figure darts over and simply disappears into the darkness. Some may wonder why the guy who submitted this is so certain that it is a ghostly figure, but this might be anything. This person appears to emerge out of thin air if you examine the shadows on the left side of the driveway closely. It appears out of nowhere. Before this dark shape makes a run for it, there is not the slightest indication of anything. A few hardly noticed it at all. It's really not a huge deal. However, other people are positive that this is a very negative omen. Whatever this small critter that lives in the shadows is, it surely gives me the chills when I watch it. All right, so this still photo was submitted. It's very amazing. There was an email attached. I will read it aloud to you all. Living in a second-floor flat in a Centennial house in 2006, I experienced an odd and unnerving incident. Back then, I was living alone, so I had assembled a crude security system with a cheap digital camera hooked up to my PC. Although it was partially hidden, the camera was set up to take a picture while I was at work every minute. I was looking through the time-lapse pictures one day when I came upon a grainy image that made me shudder. It depicted the outline of a man, whom I did not recognize and who was most definitely not my landlord, entering my apartment. The picture caught a moment that looked to be frozen in time, yet it was eerily clear. The man entered with caution, as you can see from the photo, appearing to be aware of his surroundings. However, nothing was missing, taken, or even disturbed in my apartment. There was no sign of forced entrance or exit because every door and window was secure and locked. The fact that this was the sole picture that could be found of the invader really frightened me. Even though the camera was programmed to take a photo once every minute, it had only captured one unsettling image. The man seemed to be aware that someone was observing him, as evidenced by the fact that he was staring at the computer desk where the concealed camera was at the very moment the picture was taken. There's still no explanation for why the man was in my residence. I'm still plagued by doubts about who he was, what he wanted, and how he disappeared from my flat. Thank you, and do let me know if you can think of any other explanations. The following video is from Wintergreen, Virginia, a tiny community in the Blue Ridge Mountains. These days, complaints of strange or suspicious creatures prowling around are a regular occurrence for the local police. This one differs from the other solely in that it includes photos. The Wintergreen police have released the first image, which depicts a large, hairy creature during the day. It looks like it's simply an electrical box, but at first glance I thought the large green box was a dumpster, and he was going dumpster diving. Police have now stated that this is all a fake in a statement that was made public and featured on television. Someone chuckling who desired to strike up a lighthearted discussion. Whatever that implies, locals are still dubious. However, they think that the following picture is authentic, removed and placed behind some railroad rails. This image was taken with a camera and forwarded to law enforcement. Sending a photo to the police seems a little strange now. However, I think the second photo is more realistic out of the two. What are your thoughts, guys? Watch this video that was shot from the front of an ATV as it traveled a Michigan forest trail. After a day of off-roading in the region, the video's owner stated they were on their way to their backwoods campsite. The only ways to get to the campground were on foot or via ATV. Because it was so late in the year, they were the only ones present that weekend. It's hard to see, so pay great attention. Something pale crosses the road far in front of the car. It looks to be a man, as ghostly white as he is, slumped down and dressed in a long robe or garment. Perhaps this is just a camera malfunction at this point. After all, it is nighttime. Additionally, under less than perfect conditions, cameras may find it difficult to produce correct photographs. But there's a bit more to this tale that could lead one to believe we've simply seen a ghost. Since a farmer's child met a grisly death on the adjacent train track in the late 1800s, this specific spot has been said to be haunted. Her father struggled to accept the girl's death, even though she was just 14 years old. After she recovered, he refused to see her body because he thought she had fled. After his family disintegrated, he received a psychotic diagnosis. According to folklore, he spent every night looking for her until advancing years prevented him from walking, at which point he passed away shortly after. Even though the girl was the one who passed away in the region, her father is the one who haunts the road that is shown in this movie. A strange image that surfaced on Reddit at the beginning of 2022 shocked and perplexed people. This specific picture featured a young girl contentedly posing on a couch with her new dog. But the weird, shadowy creature that was looming in the backdrop and lacked any distinguishable facial or body features was what really got everyone's attention. The rest of his body was obscured by darkness, leaving only the outline of his head and torso visible. In later comments, the photo's uploader gave additional background information. The image was taken at a close friend's house, which was about a quarter of a mile away. The girl was by herself in the house when the picture was shot. All she wanted to do was snap a picture of her new pet, so she could post it on Facebook. But the story became more complicated because of the background of her life. She was suspected of stealing from her own family and had been battling drug addiction, it was claimed. The Reddit user speculated that the dark figure may have entered the frame due to her chaotic life and negative vibes. As rumors spread, some people thought the entity might stand in for the negative energy that the family's continuous struggles were emitting. The intensity of the shadowy figure did not change no matter how people tried to improve the image or add filters to see it more clearly. Some onlookers even asserted that they saw a cross etched on its hand and what appeared to be facial features. The family decided to sell their house because their unhappiness was getting worse. The friend who uploaded the picture is currently debating whether to post it or not. Should they disclose the possibility of a ghostly presence in the house to the future owners? They feel compelled to warn the newcomers even if they don't want to frighten them, especially if the dark presence might be dangerous. Both the creator of the original poster and the greater online community are baffled by the story of the dark figure. The unanswered issue is, what might this enigmatic being actually be? How, after all, is this real? Take a look at this crazy item. Alright, so this video is from the Hornet's removal channel, and it demonstrates what is, in my opinion, one of the most brilliant things ever. Check this out then. These hornets have been lured into their small camp by these entomologists, exterminators, hornet removers, or whatever name they go by. They give them bits of meat to chew on to keep them busy. I had no idea that hornets consumed meat. And these hornets are not like the others. These are Asian killer hornets, similar to the ones you may have seen in the news. I'm referring to them by that name even if it may not be their formal name. As they devour the meat, one of the guys very carefully wraps a piece of plastic around the hornet using string. Eventually, they release them, and the plastic that was tied to them takes off flying. These hornets are nothing to play with, really. Once the hornets have been released, they use their drone to locate the nest where the plastic-carrying hornets are located. The workers prepare for the task of removing the nest as soon as they arrive. This is such a creative use of the mind that God endowed you with, and just incredible resourcefulness in the face of constraints. This 2017 video shows footage from police cameras during a significant wildfire in Sonoma County, California. It's a serious circumstance. The dashcam film shows the extreme chaos that law enforcement officers had to deal with while they labored to get people to safety and control the situation. You will be able to hear the dispatcher's voice if you focus. Their inability to determine which way the fire is traveling sounds quite obviously overwhelmed. Bravo to this cop and all the other committed public servants who bravely entered the line of fire to save others. Although fire is a prevalent element in real life and in movies, its actual force and anger can only be comprehended when it is experienced firsthand. This is a very scary scene. Amesbury, in the English county of Wiltshire, is the setting for this fascinating film. It's quite remarkable what it captures. 4 distant lights shimmering. However, one of these lights fades and goes out in a matter of moments. In an attempt to gain a closer look, the person holding the camera swiftly closes the aperture. The center light flickers when the lens focuses, and then it disappears, exactly like the first. In an attempt to capture a crisper shot, the camera operator readjusts. However, a third light suddenly blinks out, doing so more quickly than the first 2. Indeed, the fourth and last light disappears a little while later. There is conjecture on a more common explanation, despite the fact that the video initially gives off a rather supernatural vibe. It has been noted by several viewers that these lights might be flares. Someone even pointed out that the video was shot around the same time as an aerial performance in Amesbury. There is a long history of UFO sightings in England that have caught the attention of academics, UFO enthusiasts, and members of the general public. Stories of enigmatic flying objects have captivated people's attention for hundreds of years, igniting curiosity in extraterrestrial life. Reports of unexplained aerial events have been received from all around the nation. Some talk about weird flying habits of unknown objects, while others talk about their amazing speed and agility. The incidents range from the well-known Rendlesham Forest incident in 1980, dubbed Britain's Roswell by some, to more recent testimonies from laypeople and even professional pilots. But even after careful investigation by scientists and UFO specialists, a lot of these strange occurrences are still unaccounted for. This merely serves to intensify conversations and arguments regarding possible extraterrestrial visitation and the urgent requirement for ongoing inquiries. However, it's crucial to remember that the British government, like many others throughout the world, is still skeptical about the existence of extraterrestrial UFOs. The majority of sightings are frequently attributed to misidentifications of well-known terrestrial objects or events. Alright, so to establish the scene for this video, a restaurant owner posted it on Reddit, but nobody seems to know what it is. He feels that it's crucial to point out that since this section of the structure has no windows, this cannot be a reflection of a passerby. Examine it. The footage captured by the security cameras inside the office is exactly what you would anticipate seeing in a late-night restaurant. But shortly after, we notice what looks to be a moving shadowy object in the backdrop, which has undoubtedly caused some controversy. The figure appears slightly transparent when the movie is viewed slowly and at a close distance. Some believe it could be a staff member or a trick of the light, while others are certain it's a real shadow figure, much like the ones other people have seen. This clip has the paranormal community very interested. They are talking about various theories about what it might be and might not be. It's obvious that this is a video, and that it involves much more than just someone's fantasy. Even though this film doesn't have any supernatural elements, it's still a fantastic clip. Watch this trail camera video to see a bobcat confront a ravenous coyote. The moment the bobcat steps into a cave, it knows that its choice was incorrect. We don't know exactly what the bobcat faced in the cave, but it was probably something big enough for the cat to run scared out of there and right into the path of the ravenous coyote. Despite the coyote's best efforts, the bobcat escapes and makes an escape. Unfortunately, if the coyote wants to eat tonight, it will have to look for another meal. In 2003, a strange creature story took the globe by surprise. With long limbs and keen claws, this creature was well known for its aggressive, seemingly random actions. The The story spread swiftly, with other media outlets vying to share the terrifying stories. One of these tales included a video that surfaced from a covert place in England. It showed a bold person crossing an abandoned playground. With his infrared camera, he was able to see a mysterious figure sitting above the slide as he was walking through. When the creature noticed the man, its eyes brightened, and it quickly disappeared into the eerie blackness. Suddenly, the swings behind him began to tremble violently. Naturally, the eerie recording ceased at that point. A lot of commenters believe this to be the Rake. Some people believe that the Rake is a work of fiction, while others are persuaded by experiences like this. The Rake's growing popularity has inspired many fans' ingenuity, inspiring compelling tales, fan-made films, and even full-length motion pictures because of its eerie appeal. However, the Rake's mystery continues to be a contentious one, generating discussion over the true nature of this unsettling entity. Take a look at this bizarre photo that appears to depict a strange flying monster. Where do you people think this monster could have originated? I'm really curious. Even more intriguing is how out of place this seems to be. Typically, trail cameras capture images of odd creatures or forest animals. This looks like one big lizard. Of course, everyone is aware that big lizards do exist. However, the one we are examining may be a species that is new to us. It's unusual for lizards to jump, and even if they did, it's difficult to envisage them getting as high as what's shown in the video. The creator of this incredible film speculates that we may be witnessing the emergence of a new kind of lizard that consumes meat. If that's accurate, this would be a fantastic finding. Do you believe that this creature is related to aquatic life in any way? It appears to have some characteristics similar to those of a fish. To be honest, this footage has aroused my curiosity. I love to explore and learn about new critters. It's exciting and a little frightening to think that we might be witnessing something completely unprecedented. I was intrigued when I first saw this picture, but I also had a small voice in my head telling me that this might be too good to be true. So what are everyone's thoughts? How do you feel about this capture?